The next verse continues, John 6:3, and Jesus went up into a mountain, and there he sat with his disciples. After that, it gets into a verse that says the Passover of the Feast of the Jews was near. Then verse 5, when Jesus then lifted up his eyes and saw a great company come to him, he says to Philip, where shall we buy bread? So first, Jesus went up into a mountain and there sat with his disciples. Luke 9:11, and spoke to them of the kingdom of God and healed them that had need of healing. And when the day began to wear away, then came the 12 and said to him, send the multitude away. So Jesus spends all day, or at least the rest of that day, speaking of the kingdom of God and healing. And then at the end of the day is when he says, give you to them. So I could put first he goes up into the mountain, sits with his disciples, but it says, and when Jesus then lifted up his eyes, he saw a great company, and then said, where shall we buy bread? So it's as if he doesn't spend any time after going up into the mountain. Right when he gets into the mountain, sits down, he then sees the people and considers feeding them. So I guess I could say that he heals them. Then after all of that healing, after all that preaching, he goes up into a mountain, and that's where he feeds the 5,000. But that doesn't actually make much sense, because he wouldn't see the people for the first time after having spoken to them. I think I should say when he lifted up his eyes, he saw a great company come to him. Then he preaches. Then, when the day comes to an end, he says to Philip, where shall we buy bread? I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to break up. He sees the company and he speaks about feeding them. Let me take a look at Mark. Mark 6:34. And Jesus, when he came out, saw many people. When he came out? Oh, out of the ship. When he came out of the ship, he saw many people and was moved with compassion toward them because they were as sheep not having a shepherd. And he began to teach them many things. Okay, yeah. So he comes out of the ship. I think he should go up into the mountain, then teach them many things and heal. And then Mark 6:35 continues, and when the day was now far spent, yeah, just like Luke, his disciples came to him and said, this is a desert place, and now the time is far past. And he says, give you them to eat. So yeah, he gets out of the ship. Then from John goes up into the mountain, lifts up his eyes, sees the people. And from Mark here, saw many people. Then was moved with compassion. Then he taught them and healed them from Mark and Luke. Then the day being far spent, both Mark and Luke, that's when he feeds them. Okay, Matthew. And Jesus went forth and saw a great multitude and was moved with compassion toward them, and he healed their sick. So yeah, he saw them. I could say he went forth out of the ship. When he came out. Or maybe I could say he came out of the ship, then went forth up to the mountain. What does John say again? Jesus went up into a mountain. Maybe I could just trade forth with up, because going forth is like proceeding. You're continuing to go somewhere. Or I could say he went forth out of the ship, but that would be And Jesus, when he came out forth? Or Jesus went forth and when he came out? No, it's already he received them from Luke. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to move that and he received them later still. To after he comes out of the ship from Mark. Anyway, Matthew says he went forth. I think I'll trade that with went up into the mountain. From the mountain, actually, no, that doesn't make sense because, again, he's not first going to see all these people just because he's up in a mountain. When he gets out of the ship, he sees the people. I know. I'll say he comes out of the ship, sees many people there, was moved with compassion towards them because they were as sheep not having a shepherd. Then I can say from Luke, and he received them, but before he teaches them, I'll say from John, he goes up into a mountain, there sat with his disciples, and then he teaches them. Okay, so I still have to start with he's coming out of the ship. I will get rid of this passage from Luke at the end there. John just goes, and Jesus went up into a mountain. And Jesus went forth. Yeah, I'll combine Matthew with John, so only Mark right now. When he came out. Mark only. And Jesus, when he came out, saw many people and was moved with compassion toward them because they actually, maybe I should say, and he received them because they were as sheep not having a shepherd. Or should I say, because they were sheep not having a shepherd, and he received them? Actually, I'm not sure. Which is the because? Is they being as sheep not having a shepherd the reason why he receives them? Or the reason why he has compassion on them? I think it's because they have compassion on them. So I'll put that first. He has compassion on them because they are as sheep, not having a shepherd. And he received them. I'm going to have to actually move from Matthew, was moved with compassion toward them, to Mark, even though that's before I put, and Jesus went forth, because I'm going to say that's when he went up into the mountain. And was moved with compassion toward them. And was moved with compassion toward them. Okay, so all that is both. So that's both. And he received them